Srinivas and Dr. Kumar to set the possibility of this meeting. I will be talking about the predilation part, which is for the learning, but since I work with Alain Cribier, I will give a small 5 minutes introduction or other experience and his innovation, and then 5 minutes, next 5 minutes about the predilation. So we go into the next slide. So TAVI, which is Transcatheter Aortic Valve Implantation, is one of the established now treatment here. Dr. Ali Prof sitting here, we had Dr. Cribier also in Apollo way back in 2005 or something. And I worked with him in 1996 to 98. At that time, his hypothesis was going on and he was planning to do animal experimentation and equally looking for the company. A few slides which I will just show you my wonderful stay with cath lab in Dr. Cribier here. Of course, my family there. He came to my house in Santa Vihar. My son Chinmay, bicycle. So many such videos are there. And this is the first case which we did from India. November 2011. At that time, CCI had not yet approved TAVI in India, and therefore we had to fly this patient from India to Goa, and we did the initial workup in Apollo Hospital, and this was Edward XT valve, which was used by him. 40-minute procedure. I was struck as a second pair, but he did the procedure very well. Coming on to the pioneering, first in man vision by the pioneering team. This was the first in man 2002, April 16, when it was done by him. And this was one of the most memorable slides which I always want to share with him. Dr. Alain Cribier, Alain and Christophe Tron, the team which did this procedure. And of course, 20th anniversary of TAVI was celebrated in Goa, and that was in 2022. And I also attended that. Few memorable videos. This was the last video I don't want to share too much of it. But December 2023, he was in Kolkata CSI. After checking out, he came to my room, and I had recorded this already available on the YouTube. And he recorded this video of Dr. TAVI, and we never expected that we will not meet him again. 12 February 2024. Within 40 days, he was no more. It was sudden cardiac death. He was absolutely fine. He had lunch. And of course, then in the evening, he was found dead in his room. He had 45% ejection fraction and never expected to have sudden cardiac death. So not going to details of this video. This was a video which was, of course, when I was working with him. I have never seen a more fast operator as Alain Cribier. I learned everything from him when he was doing. While I was scrubbing, he would have finished the coronary angiogram, and he was the master of all. This was a small video when he came to my house in Santa Vihar, and he did a lot of jokes. That was 2017 or something. 2018, they went to 22, then of course 22 more videos. My son piano. He was a pianist. Dr. Alain Cribier was doing a lot of. He had a big hobby of piano, and he was recognized as a big piano player. And this was my son playing this. And then of course he was doing bicycle and so. So coming to the welcome address he gave, I had so many interviews with him regarding TAVI, which he did 2002, and then I took a lot of lectures in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Sydney, Australia. Today morning I gave a lecture online on same innovation of TAVI and Gold Coast conference at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. So developing TAVI along the road littered with pitfalls. Having an idea is not enough. This is a very important slide. Just for the new newcomers, it will be recorded, many people will listen to it. And having an idea is not enough. Translating it to reality requires a combination of elements proving that the idea is good, mental strength capable of overcoming criticism, finding the right partners and finances to advance, rigorous scientific research respecting the process of optimal translation research. Failure of any one of these can lead to failure of entire project. This slide absolutely made by Dr. Cribier. Never give up. Perseverance is a key word. So this was since 1985 when he did the first balloon aortic valvoplasty published in Lancet. Till the time 2002, he did the transcatheter valve. There was big things which he did. A single goal for these two great innovations to provide a life-saving therapeutic option for patients with symptomatic AS and decline for surgical. In 2002, one-third of symptomatic AS non-operable, mortality more than 80% for 2 years, which is the symptoms. So high mortality. In 1980, 50% turned down for surgery as per se. So balloon aortic valvoplasty, chlorine and breakup. First in man, September 85, published in Lancet. At that time, Cribier et al., because balloon aortic valvoplasty was also one of the very major thing which he did. A lot of people from doctors from USA came, and then transcatheter heart valve came in 2002. This was the most very important slide. When he did to Medtronic, when he put this project to Medtronic as well as many other companies, they said the most stupid project ever heard, just forget it. So he was not able to find a sponsor. Finally, he made his own company, PVT, which was in 1994. They made a company, the autopsy study was done, looking for a sponsor. All viable companies contacted. Complete failure. Opinion experts, the most stupid project ever forgotten. They created a company with Martin Leon, PVT, percutaneous valve technologies, and then they started for the more and more experimentation. And of course, Israel valve, then valve from Israel was made, and of course, 2000 of PVT heart valve was made with the tri-drive PVT polymer, horse pericardium, stainless steel stent, single diameter, 24 French clamp size. 2002, of course, you know that first implant happened. So first implant, this is a very important slide because this is the most complex patient which were ever done. 12% ejection fraction, aortic valve area 0.6, bicuspid airflow, multiple comorbidities, acute leg ischemia, there was no transcatheter approach available, and TAVI was the last resort option, and unplanned transcatheter approach. People think that it was a planned transcatheter, it was an unplanned transcatheter. They also wanted to go through the anti-grade route for neurolarity, but there was no access. And of course, the patient recovered, and of course, superfection, negotiation, integrity, and the surgeon said again, because he did the first thing. The film was done into cardiology confirmed. I'm going to skip the slide, I have only 5 minutes left. The first step of TAVI offshore, when Dr. Alain, Martin Leon, John Webb from Vancouver, he further established the anti-grade route, because initially the compassionate patient was done only by transcatheter approach, most of them. And you know, 28 compassionate is a very sick dying patient, class 4, imminent death, transcatheter approach, and most transcatheter only in 7 retrograde. So this was offshore, the Rotterdam, Patrick Sarah, Anthony Colombo, of course, Alain, Martin Leon, Bernard O'Neill, John Webb. They further went further and TAVI until the new era. The same company which had introduced the idea of percutaneous valve, they buy the PVT. TAVI until the new era, new valve, new digital system, new approaches. Cribier and Bernard was the initial name, 23 to the size, coin pericardium, 1.5 inch coverage, and then converted to a Sapien, where they took a patent from him, treated bovine pericardium, 50% cell coverage. And of course, John Webb is known for more anti-grade approaches like this. Self-expanding valve was a further, at the same time, Medtronic and core valve later acquired by Medtronic. The self-expanding valve was more Guru, Brugge, Shedubade, and then. So these were the historical part, but I just wanted to tell you from 2005, when it was the first, and it was a Sapien, and it was XT to the 9, Sapien 3 to the 12, and since 2020, Sapien 3 Ultra and the Nigeria. At the same time, Medtronic evolved. This was 18 francs initially for 24 francs, 18 francs, 14 francs, 16 francs, and then now of course we are doing it 14 francs these days. And of course MSCT was established in 2010, and then Boston Scientific and Merrill, my valve, and Indian valve, we have also developed another balloon expandable valve which is almost equivalent to the Edwards valve, and Medtronic had started this thing. So advanced technology, reason for success, major scientific achievement, I would like to highlight 3 trials that were done. Partner 1, Partner 2, and Partner 3 trial. 2012 FDA approved for the Edwards Sapien, inoperable high risk only, intermediate risk Partner 2, and of course the most important was low risk patient was also approved, and FDA approved in 2019 Sapien 3 valve for the low risk patients. In early days, no one could have predicted the project expansion, and the expansion was huge. 2019, this was a very important slide. This was to show you that FDA approved more than 30 lakhs patients TAVI performed worldwide. More than 80 countries TAVI market exceeded now surgical aortic valve market in many countries, including USA. Expected growth and the future of TAVI was brighter. So the hypothesis of TAVI was FDA approved TAVI in low risk patients more than 65. This is the criteria for the Edward valve, and of course in European it is more than 75, but of course younger and younger patients are now being treated as per the wish and the desire of the company and discretion of the company. Coming on to the main part of my small talk, this was a patient which we did recently, Edwards Sapien valve, severe valve cirrhosis, mitral valve area 0.6 centimeter, recurrent syncope. We did a pectoral aortic route from the right radial route, crossing of the aortic valve with the AL valve, and then of course you can see the valve going up, of course from the aorta to the ascending aorta, and then it will park here. This is a very important step where you have to really be very sure to do it. 80%, 20% formula is applied there. Safari wire inside, ex ratio analysis done before to know the size of the valve. We had required 26 millimeter valve in a bicuspid valve, and you see we did no post dilatation, no pre-dilatation. So this is what I want to show here. We did not do any pre-dilatation. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of pre-dilatation? Pre-dilatation to prepare a stenosed aortic valve for a new positive valve which can aid in easing the passage of new valve in the system, ensuring a new valve can fully exploit the correct position. Same way we do pre-dilatation for the coronary stent, confirming the sign of the aortic stenosis, the ring that holds, and risk are potential complications are CV events, conduction disturbances, severe AR, and nodal rupture. But of course, initially, with the sizing of the valve going down, Now we can do without predilation also, and therefore many times we do without predilation. Last part of the slide is the developing TAVI, a long journey, and you can see from the 1985, 94, 99, 2000, 2002, ROA, first living man, 2002, 23, and then of course the CE mark was established in 2007, and then a partner 2, a partner 3, and then of course expansion of all corners. 37 years is behavior, 32 years is. I want to show you the first case very quickly, where we get only 30 seconds. This was the first case with the severe, I told you the severe post-bypass, comorbid conditions, non-operable. Surgeon referred to me. At that time, they knew that I have a relationship with Alain Cribier. So I took this patient to France in 2011, and the patient lived for another 9 years. He died of nephropathy later on. He was 84 when we did the procedure. 84 with ejection fraction of about 50%. And here we did do predilation because the valve size was adverse XT. So as when advancement is coming, the predilation may not be required, but you have to be quick enough, because when you do predilation, and if one is too less, of course there is some compromise in the aortic flow, and therefore you have to be very, very quick. So the experienced operator now, they don't want to do predilation because of the risk involved, and there is no need. Post-dilation part is also important. If you have PVL, sometimes PVL goes away within a few days, sometimes it does not go, and the post-dilation may be required in such cases, but you have to be again very careful. This patient was discharged in 3 days' time, and this was 22 years celebration, and we wanted to hear the 25 years celebration with Dr. Cribier. Unfortunately, it was not possible. I really miss it because he had a lot of affection for me personally. And Dr. Cribier, you cannot have another Cribier. I have never heard in the whole world anybody talking negative about anybody, because there are always controversies around whenever you are a big man. But this man had no controversy, and he lived long, good long. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about predilation as well as small thought process about Dr. Cribier.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek.